Battle Royale games like PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds and H1Z1 are all the rage nowadays. Unreal Engine is a great choice for a project like this. In fact, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds actually uses Unreal Engine. Maybe you've been trying to make some money and your modeling career just isn't taking off.
Oh shit, is this thing recording? Oh my god.
You decide that you'll cash in on the Battle Royale craze and make a Battle Royale game, but you don't know where to start. Here is your answer. Welcome to the Battle Royale game tutorial series. In this series, I'm going to show you how to use blueprints to actually make your own Battle Royale game without coding at all. Grab your Kickstarter projects, boys.
Sell your home if you have one. Please give me all of your money. Thank you.
It's about to begin. Okay, so to get started, you want to download the engine, and then when you open it up, you'll see this page. So just go to New Project, Blueprint, and then make a third-person project, and you can call it whatever you want. Once you're done, just click on Create Project, and it will start creating a project for you. Alright, here's what your project will look like. You'll just have a basic level, and there's this character sitting in the level. And the easiest way to get around is just sort of play around. Right mouse click will let you rotate. Left mouse click will kind of let you pan around, and if you click the scroll wheel, it will sort of move you left and right. It's pretty easy to get the hang of, but if you hit play, you'll be thrown into a project here, and you can already start running around in this level. Now this level's a bit too small for my needs, so I'm going to show you guys how to make a different level. In the content folder here, go ahead and right click and make a new folder. And I'm going to call this levels. It's just going to hold all of my levels. Next we'll go to File, New Level, and select Default. You can go with Empty Level, but Default has a skybox and stuff set up for you, so it's kind of a nice choice. So now that we've clicked on that, we have a new level, but all that it has is this big cubey thing in the middle. So click on that and hit Delete on your keyboard to get rid of it. What I'm going to do now is make a big landscape, because that's typically what these open world games have, is a big landscape with lots of different mountains and terrain and things like that. So if you click on the landscape tab here, you can select a material you want. If you click this here and then type in grass, you'll find the grass material. Click on that and then click on create. This is going to create a big landscape, and there will be these black lines. Don't worry about these, you can just ignore these for now. It's to do with the lighting. Once we build the lighting, it'll get rid of these. But already you should be able to sculpt your terrain. So you can add landscape, big landscapes with hills and all sorts of things. So just play around, make some hills or something, and then we'll continue on. So now we're already getting closer to that Battle Royale game. If we hit play now, oh, we fall through the ground. To fix that, you want to add a player start to your game. You can see there's actually already a player start. If you click back on place here and click on this thing here, this is a player start. Now the problem is that it's kind of halfway in the ground, so all you need to do is drag it up. And you can see it's actually telling us that it is a bad size, it's clipping into the ground, so just move it up a little bit. And you can see that goes away, and if I hit play now, we can run around on our big landscape. So I'd suggest putting a little bit of time into making a landscape. This is mostly a series about programming, so I'm not going to show you guys how to do crazy level design or anything like that. What I'm going to be focusing on is how to make weapons and different things like that. So there is our landscape. So I told you that we'd be doing all of the logic for this game in blueprints. Blueprints are a way of coding without actually needing to write code, and they're often a lot more simple for beginners to understand. So when you hit play, and you can walk around and things like that, the only reason we can do all this is because of the blueprints. If you go to third person BP, go to the blueprints folder and open up the third person character, all of this stuff that you see here is basically moving a character around and doing different things. If I was to delete all of this, my character would break, it would stop working. So these are the blueprints that control the movement, jumping. You can see they're all labeled, like this here is doing the jumping, this here is doing the movement, and so on. I won't get into blueprints in this video, we'll be doing it in the next video. But the other thing that I want to cover is components. Now if you click on this tab here that says Viewport, you can see what your player will look like in the game. Some of the stuff like this collision capsule here is hidden in the game, but this is essentially what it will look like. So if you see over here in this components window, there's a bunch of different components that make up our character. The cool thing about Unreal Engine is that they do a lot of the work for you using these components. So for example, this character movement component here lets you make a character that moves around without having to write any code. It just does it for you, which is really nice. And even better, it's networked, so other players can see what's happening with this character movement component. Really useful stuff. But you can kind of look through here and see all the different parts that make up our character, like the follow camera, the player's mesh, the player's collision, and so on and so forth. So I want to keep these videos short and sweet, but I thought the first thing we'll do is just get some basic HUD on the screen, because that's pretty much essential. You're going to need some UI for your game. So we're going to go back into content, right click, new folder, and I'll call this HUD, but I mean, again, call it whatever you want. We'll go into the HUD folder, right click, go to UI, or user interface, and click on widget blueprint. At this point you can call it whatever you want. I'm going to call it in-game HUD. And we're just going to add one thing to this, which is going to be a health bar. Also, when you click on Save All, it's going to ask you to save the level. Just go to the Levels folder, and I'm just going to call this level Main. Okay, so let's open up our in-game HUD, and I'm going to add a health bar. First thing we'll do is, over here in the palette, you can drag and drop stuff onto your canvas to make your UI. So we'll start by taking some text and just putting it down here in the corner. And if you click on anchors, you can anchor it to the bottom left corner, which is kind of a nice feature. So to just drag it to where you want, and then where it says text, we're going to change this to say health. I'm going to make a health bar. So what we want now is a progress bar. Drag that in, and make this as big as you want. You can really play around with the styling and make all sorts of different stuff. But typically health bars are red, so we're going to click on the fill color and then change that to something red. Okay. Compile, save, and we'll also set the percent to be 1 for now, so that a health bar is always full. Later on we'll actually make it so it displays the amount of health you have, but so far we haven't added health, so I'm just going to make it full for now. We'll come back into our character, so open up the character, go to the event graph, and I'm going to show you our first event. I actually said we wouldn't do blueprints, but we have to do a little bit of blueprints just to get the HUD on the screen. If I hit play right now, there's no HUD on the screen. We made the HUD, but we haven't told it to go to our viewport, which we need to do in the blueprints. So when we begin the game, when we start playing the game, that's when we want to add the HUD to the viewport. So to do this, you simply just right click and just type in begin play. You use the event begin play whenever you want to do something when the game begins for our character. So click event begin play, and this adds a new event. All that you really need to know is that when we do stuff, it just follows the white line. So I'm going to drag up from here. The first thing I need to do, I've made my HUD. Now I need to create it so I can put it on the viewport. If you right click and type in create widget, you can create a widget. Keep in mind that Unreal Engine just refers to HUD as widgets. So click on that, and it's going to ask us which HUD we want to make. And there's two options, our HUD or user widget. Click on in-game HUD, which is the one that we made. And so all that we do now is connect this up. So what this is saying is, when the game begins playing, do this thing, and then do whatever we drag up from here, and so on and so forth. So you just drag out from these white wires to do more stuff. So after we create the widget, we want to add it to our viewport. So what you need to do now is drag out again, and type in add to viewport. Click on that. Now there's one more thing, and it's gonna, you can see this blue node is here. The blue node is what are we trying to add to the viewport. This one here is our in-game HUD. So this is the in-game HUD, and this is asking what we want to add to the viewport. And of course we want to add our in-game HUD to the viewport. So you simply just drag this and connect it up. It's that simple. The last thing that don't concern yourself too much about this for now, but I'm just going to do this just to get it out of the way. This stuff will make a lot more sense later, but it's asking for an owning player. So we're just going to get the player controller. The player controller is essentially the brain of the player, if that makes sense. So get the player controller. And then we're going to say the player controller is the owning player. This is useful later on if you want to figure out who owns this in-game HUD, but for now, just don't worry about it. Just type all this in, and later on it'll definitely make a lot more sense. But anyways, if you compile and save, and hit play, you'll now have the HUD on the screen. So there we have it. A very simple HUD, and a good start to our game. So guys, I hope this has been a fun start to the series. I know there hasn't been any explosions or guns or anything like that, but in the next video, we will add no, just kidding. We'll add some stuff in the next video. I don't know how long it's going to take before it'll start to really come together, but hopefully this has been a fun first video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. If you like these videos and you want to see more, please consider becoming a patron. I save some of the coolest ideas for the Patreon, and you get a new video every month, but you can cancel whenever you want. If you sign up, you get a bunch of cool videos, and yeah, I'll chuck the link in the description. Have a great day.